Hi, everybody. I'm here to talk about something that I call America's untapped opportunity. And I work for a nonprofit. We're a very metrics-driven nonprofit, like Zach before was talking about. But most nonprofits are out there to solve a problem, and I think of what we're doing as unleashing an opportunity. And this is about computer science. I want to start with a quick story about myself. This is a picture of me when I was 4 years old with my twin brother. I grew up in Iran. And when we were 4, it was right before the Iranian Revolution, and soon after, by the time I was 6 years old, the country was at a war with Iraq, and it's kind of a developing country during a war with an Islamic regime and bombing at night. Not a good place to grow up, but my dad brought us home a computer, a Commodore 64, and said, this doesn't have any software on it, but here's a book, you can teach yourself how to program it and make some games for yourself. And that experience and having really not much else to do in our lives basically led me down a path that gave me a fantastic career, and I feel that I'm now, in America, living the American dream. I use computer programming to pay my way through college and get some great jobs. 30 years later, in the 21st century, I want to give this story of 2 other kids. This here is Armand living in Washington Heights, just north of Harlem. He's a 5th grader. And this here is Ifra in Seattle's, downtown Seattle, a neighborhood called Rainier Beach. She's a 10th grader. 30 years later, in the country that has invented half the technologies we use, they go to schools that don't teach basic computer science. And why is computer science important? We all see computers around us everywhere, all these talks talking about the importance of technology. If you look at what's happening in high schools, this is a graph of basically how much time students spend in high school in all the science and math fields. And we hear about the importance of math and science. Our country's falling behind on math and science scores. STEM, meaning really science and math with a little technology and engineering in between. 2% of the math and science studies in high school is dedicated to computer science. If you look at all the jobs in computer science, over 60% of all the jobs in math and science are computing jobs. So if you look at, there's this huge mismatch between what our schools are teaching our kids and then where the actual economic opportunity is. If you look at the picture in the state of Illinois, I'm here in Illinois, there's currently, right now, 26,972 open computing jobs. And this is in a field where the jobs are growing at 4 times the state's average. And then so you might want to question how many graduates are our schools graduating into this field. Is it 10,000? It's got to be less, because that's why I'm talking about it. This state has 2,691 graduates in computer science last year. It's a huge mismatch. And this isn't just the picture in Illinois. The picture is actually worse in my state of Washington. It's worse in New York, in Nebraska, Wyoming, in every single state of the country. And then now you may wonder, why aren't there enough graduates in this field? In this entire state, only 130 schools even teach computer science. The rest of the schools at the K through 12 level do not even teach it. This is the picture for the entire country. This shows 2 graphs. The first shows the government's view of how many jobs there are going to be in this field from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The second shows the government's view of how many students are studying it from the National Science Foundation. The delta between the job growth and the student graduation rates is about 1 million jobs that add up to $500 billion of opportunity. Now, you may think this is just a matter of catching up with the times, but the reality is we actually have fewer students in this field than 10 years ago, and half as many women in this field as 10 years ago. And there's actually fewer schools that teach it than 10 years ago. It's a chart that's basically going, or at least until a year ago when we started our work, was going the wrong direction. This shows basically high school AP enrollment in the different fields: history, English, science, math, foreign languages. And then the very last one, that tiny little bucket at the far right that you can barely see, is computer science. It's only even taught at the AP level in 5% of our high schools, even though studies show that it leads directly to basically effectively the best paying jobs in the country. And in that tiny box, only 15% of the kids in that box are women, only 8% are African Americans, only 8% are Hispanics. The participation by minority is so low that in the state of Illinois, about 30 black kids took this course all of last year. In my state of Washington, 12. In New York City, the state of New York, 55. It's an extremely weird mismatch of basically the opportunity in our country and what basically our schools are teaching kids. And it's partly because this is a course that's not offered in urban schools. Now, this isn't just about jobs. Technology affects every field. It started with the computer, but now with the smartphone, you see an explosion going from uses of technology in medicine, in energy regulation with thermostats, in space research, in entertainment, in transportation, or even far out things like contact lenses that measure your glucose, or all the things these other talks have been around. Every field you want to go into is impacted by technology, but 90% of our schools don't teach the basic understanding of how the world around us works. They teach how digestion works, or photosynthesis, or how electricity works, but not how computing and algorithms work. And this isn't also just about tech companies. The majority of software jobs are outside the tech industry, in banking, retail, government. And if you want to take a job in any of these industries, it's helpful to understand how computers work and how technology works. This is a quote by the head of the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center saying that if you want to go into medical research or medicine, knowing how software works is as important for 20 years from now as knowing basic anatomy of how the human body works. So our vision is that every school should teach computer science and that every student should at least have the basic opportunity and exposure to this field. I want to introduce something we launched last year called the Hour of Code. It was organized by my organization with over 100 partners from technology, from nonprofits, et cetera. And our goal was to basically get teachers in regular classrooms, English teachers, math teachers, science teachers, to teach just 1 hour of computer science in their regular classroom. At the time I sent in the slides for this talk, we had 43 million students had done the Hour of Code 10 months after we'd launched it. But yesterday, we actually just passed 45 million. Right now, 1 student every second begins doing their Hour of Code. It's been this ongoing campaign of just crazy adoption by students worldwide. And in the first week when we launched it, we had more girls try computer science in America's schools than in the previous 70 years. So it's been an incredible success of getting America's schools to teach a field that they haven't, just for 1 hour. We launched this with a speech by the president on the homepage of Google, with a whole bunch of celebrities supporting it, and also in every single Apple store in the country and the homepage of the App Store. And it caused a tremendous activity around computer science. We actually graphed how quickly did we reach this large user base. If you look at things like Facebook, took 3 years to get to 15 million users. Instagram took 14 months. The Hour of Code literally took 15 days to get to 15 million students. And the reason for that wasn't being on the homepage of the Google or the speech by the president. It was because we had over 40,000 teachers putting this into regular classrooms where regular kids go to school, not just in after school or not just for the parents who can afford special summer camps for their kids. And it gave me a lot of belief in the power of the American teacher if you give them a curriculum and a system that can bring opportunity into the classroom. And people ask me regularly, well, what comes after the Hour of Code? What does 1 hour do? You're not going to become a software engineer or genius from that. But what it does is it teaches you that this is a field that any child can learn, and it gives a teacher the confidence that they can teach it in their classroom. What we're doing in Chicago right now is a number of things as sort of a follow-on. Chicago is actually the largest city in terms of participation in the Hour of Code. The mayor has made a commitment to teach computer science in all schools in partnership with my organization and to all students by 2017. And we're the official partner of basically training the teaching staff in Chicago's schools to put a computer science class into every school in the city. In our first year, we've put this course into 30 high schools, 19 middle schools, and 24 elementary schools. You may have seen it on CBS News locally about how basically people as early as kindergarten in Chicago public schools are now learning basic computer programming skills. And we're changing people's minds about who this is for. If a girl in kindergarten can do it, that completely shatters stereotypes about this field. Beyond Chicago, we have a nationwide effort putting computer science in grades 9 through 12. We're now in 30 school districts, including all 3 of the largest, New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles. Nationwide, we've put this course into 300 new classrooms, reaching 13,000 students, of which 60% are African American and Hispanic. If you remember that early little chart I showed, the tiny little box, which is computer science, our first year's course isn't yet as big as that entire box, but the African American and Hispanic population of it is already larger. We've more than doubled the participation in the entire country in this field already. And Ifra, who I showed earlier in the talk, now has a computer science class in her high school in Seattle. And in the lower grades, elementary grades, we've had an incredible success of an online-based curriculum that is now already used in 40,000 classrooms as a full computer science class with almost 2 million kids in it by now, 40% of whom are girls. And Armand, who I showed earlier, has now had a chance in 5th grade to start learn how to do computer programming and computer science and getting the same opportunity that I had when I was growing up at his age. I want to tell you all about basically the Hour of Code as a campaign has for us been the seed that gets this into schools, because it's important for teachers and students to realize this is important, it's fun, and it's easy, and that they can do it. December 8th through 14th is Computer Science Education Week, and we're going to have the culmination of the Hour of Code campaign. We've reached 45 million students with this campaign. We're aiming to get to 100 million. The easiest thing any of you can do if you're parents is go to your teacher and ask, are you doing the Hour of Code? This is actually more important if you don't live in Chicago, because Chicago Public Schools plans on doing this for every single student in the school district, but it would help even if you live in Chicago to tell your teachers to do it. Also, if you live in Chicago, we would love a donation. We've started a $5 million crowdfunding drive, half of which is covered by basically our wealthy donors, but we need the other half covered by regular people to unlock those donations. We basically are spending millions of dollars in this city, and actually none of our donors are from this city. So we'd love to have financial support from the people of Chicago as well. If you visit code.org, the most important thing you can do if you're a parent is click the Try It button for a student to try the Hour of Code, get a teacher to host it, or support us by donating. I want to end by showing a quick 2-minute video that summarizes the work we've done with the Hour of Code and to build up your support. If we could switch to the video reel, please.
Hour of Code.
The Hour of Code. Todo lo pueden hacer.
Ya programme code.
Your teacher says you guys are into it.
We are. It's very awesome.
Code.org has partnered with 30 public school districts across the country, including New York, Chicago, and Denver, to provide lessons in teacher training and writing.
The largest education events in history.
Organizers set what they called an ambitious goal of reaching 10 million students this week. Almost 15 million signed up.
This week, I'm proud to join the students, teachers, businesses, and nonprofit organizations taking new steps to support computer science in America's schools.
They've been so excited about it.
You're learning and you're playing.
I got it.
I ran an hour of code that's easy to do.
They're learning how things are created in a technological world, and that's their world and their upcoming world.
Every district should do, every district can do it.
I'm actually seeing the kids in elementary school start coding, and this is amazing.
I'm actually gonna code.
Love it?
Yes, I love it.
Is coding super fun?
Yes!
If you can change technology, you can change the world.
I challenge girls in every single country to learn 1 hour of code.
Computer science can unlock the best opportunities in the world no matter where you are.
Please help us get the Hour of Code to 100 million students this year.
And my school's doing it.
Thank you very much for your support.